Alright, today we are starting section 8.4. We are going to spend a few days on this section. For today, we are going to graph a line given a point and a slope. So that is part of the reason why we worked with graphing points and finding slope for our worksheet warm-up this morning. To warm up on these slides, we want to identify the y-intercept, just the y-intercept. That was part of the new stuff we did yesterday. So can someone raise their hand and tell me the y-intercept on warm-up 1? May.
1.
Positive 1. The y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So for this problem, that is at a positive 1. Can anyone tell me what letter we used for the y-intercept? Ellie? B. So for this we could write B equals 1. Alright, any other volunteers for warm-up 2? Keon? 0. Our y-intercept, where it crosses the y-axis, is actually at the origin. So B equals 0. Today we are going to first plot the point and then use the slope to get more points. So we are given only one point, but we are also given a slope, which we call M. So the first thing we need to do is plot that point. Who can tell me how to plot the point -2, -4? Jaquan? Good. We go left 2 and then down 4. That's where our first point will go. Then we have to use our slope, and we need to remember that slope should make us think rise over run. Rise meaning that we go either up or down, and run meaning we go left or right. So we are going to rise 5 from this point that we already made. Don't go back to the origin. Start on that point that we just made. We are going to rise 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we are going to run 3 spaces. If my 3 is positive, should I go left or right? To the right. 1, 2, 3, and that is where I want to put my next point. So we have to go up 5, over to the right 3, and we get a second point. And then we can do that again, starting from this point. We can go up 5 more, to the right 3 more, and we would be able to put another point. Up 5 again, over 3 again. And notice all 3 of these points are on a straight line. So then we use our straight edge and graph the line that goes through all 3 of those points. Can't get mine centered quite right. That's a little bit better. With arrows at the ends. Alright, on our second example, I first need to plot the point 1, 1. Do I have any volunteers to help me out with that? Jamal Dixon. Right 1 and then up 1. Alright, and then we have to use our slope, 2 over 3. Slope is rise over run. If both of those are positive, who can tell me where to go next? I need new volunteers, or I'm going to have to get the sticks. Ryan? Alright, so after we get that initial point, we use our slope. Our rise is 2. Our run is 3. Because they're both positive, we go up and to the right. And we put a point. And we could do that again. Up 2, right 3, put a point. On this one, I do want to point out that we can get more points on this line. Remember how we talked about to get your slope, you can count 2 different directions, right? We could go from a left point to another point, or we could go from a right point to another point. If I were to have counted my slope starting on the far right side, I wouldn't have gone up. Where would I have gone? Down and to the left. So instead of going up and to the right, I can go down and to the left. I can do the same thing when I'm trying to come up with points. Instead of going up and to the right, I can reverse both of those directions and go down to left 3, down to left 3. And you'll see that they still end up on the same line. Now you don't have to put all of, I got off there somewhere. Down to left 1, 2, 3. That's better. All right, you don't have to put all of these points on your graph. You just need to have at least 3. But sometimes to fit 3 points on your graph, you might have to use your slope the other way. So either they're both going to be positive or they're both going to be negative directions on this one. And again, we use our straight edge to get a line through our graph. Number 3, I need a new volunteer to tell me how to get to my starting point of -3, 1. Lexi? Over 3 which way? To the left 3 and then up 1. And that'll get my starting point. This time my slope is just written as 2. In order to graph this, it will be helpful for our slope to be as a fraction, so we have both a rise and a run. Any whole number or integer we can always put over 1. So this is going to be 2 over 1. Now that we know our rise and our run, who can tell me where to go to get more points? Connie?
Up 2 and up 1.
Over which way?
Right.
Up 2 and to the right 1. So I can do that several times to get a bunch of points. But if I did not go up 2 and right 1, I could go down 2 and left 1. And we would still be on the same line. Like I said, you don't necessarily need to have all of these points. You need to have a minimum of 3 when you do them. And we graph our line and put our arrows on it. On example 4, we are starting at 0, 0. I need a new volunteer to tell me where that point belongs. Jakeem? The origin. 0, 0 means we're not moving anywhere from the origin. We're staying there. And then we have the slope of 1 over 5. Who can tell me how to use that slope to get more points? I see the same hands. Like we're gonna need the sticks today. All right. Delaney, what's my rise and my run?
Go over to the right 5 and then up 1.
Okay, we're going to go up 1 and then to the right 5. To the right 5, up 1. We're going to end up in the same point. They are both positive, so we go up and to the right. But I want a third point, and I can't fit that on my graph. So, Ellie, where am I going to go?
When you go back to the, no, that's at 0, 0.
Uh-huh.
You go down 1 to the left 5.
Good. We go back to our starting point and we go down 1 to the left 5. So we reverse both of those directions. Instead of going up and to the right, we go down and to the left. And now we've got 3 points. We will put our line through those and add our arrows on the ends. Example 5, I need to start at the point 0, 1. Well, keep pulling names of people that aren't here. Jamal, even though you've participated, can you tell me where that point would be? Up 1 from the origin. And then our slope is -1, which we talked about. We can write any integer as a fraction. It would be -1/1. So Carl, where am I going to go to get another point? So our rise is -1, so we go down 1, and then where would we go? So this is our rise and our run. Over which way? To the right. Good. So we go down 1 and then to the right 1. Only the numerator is negative right now. And we should know that if our slope is negative, that our line should look like it's going downhill when we graph it. So down 1, right 1. We can do that a few times and get some points. But if I wanted to get more points, instead of going down 1, right 1, where would I have to go? Kian? Up 1, left 1. If we reverse one of the directions, we got to reverse the other one. So instead of going down and right, we can go up and left. And then once we have at least 3 points, we should be able to put a line going through our graph. I can't seem to get mine at the right angle here. That's not it either. That's better. There we go. All right. Questions about what we're doing? Graphing a point, using our slope to get more points, making a line. We need at least 3 points on them. All right, if you have not already done so, go ahead and try the last 2 examples, and we'll talk about them in a few minutes or less. Looks like some people already have them done. On example 6, we first need to plot the point -4, 1. Now, one thing I noticed when I was coming around, and something that's happened in years past, is that we mix up which direction we move for what kind of thing we're trying to plot. And I understand it can get confusing. If we're doing a point, we go left or right first, then up or down. But for a slope, we go up or down first, then left or right. Okay, so I understand where the confusion comes from, but we got to work really hard to keep it straight. So who can tell me how to get to the point -4, 1? Shannon? Left 4 and then up 1. Very good. And then we use our slope, -1/4. So we talked about this a little bit the last few days. We can give the negative to either the numerator or the denominator. But we've only got one negative sign to work with. It does not matter to me which gets it, the top or the bottom. Okay, so using our slope of -1/4, who can tell me where to go to get another point? Deja? We are on example 6. We found our first point. Now we're using our slope to get another point. To the right, how many? We use our slope as rise and run. If we give the negative to the numerator, that means we go down 1. The 4 is positive, that means we would go right 4. We can do that again and still be on the graph. Down 1, right 4. And then we could plot our line. Questions about number 6? All right, on number 7, we first need to plot the point 0, 5. Kion, where is that point? Start at the origin, go up 5. Very good. We do not move left or right on that one. All right, then we have to use our slope, negative 3/4, to get another point. Again, the negative can be given to the top or the bottom, but not both. Danielle, where do we go to get another point? Over which way?
Right.
Down 3 for that negative 3, and then to the right 4, because the 4 was positive when the 3 is negative. And on this particular problem, we can't really fit another point on the graph that they gave us. We could go down 3 again, but then we can't quite go over 4. We could try to go up, but we can't go up 3 to go left 4. So this one, really, if you only get the 2 on there, it's okay. It's better. All right. Questions or concerns about 8.4 day 1? All right, that's the end of the notes.